All right, FightHype.com here, former junior middleweight champion of the world. Definitely, as we all know, the winner.
And the legend Brian Kenny.
And the legend Brian Kenny.
Put him up. I'm only kidding.
Brian,
talk to Sergio.
Brian, you're still brilliant, but those Friday night fight broadcasts back in the studio with Max, that was golden stuff.
Those were the good old days. Yeah. Sergio was on too.
I was on
back
one
in the
time.
Contender days.
That's right.
It was a lot of fun.
That's right.
Go on, talk to Sergio.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Teddy freaked out too much in that Manfredo rematch. I remember that. But
he did, but you know what? Teddy is Teddy, and that's why he's a legend.
Yep.
Also a legend in this sport. He just has a different personality. Brian has his way of informing people, and Teddy does it with passion, and he knows what to do. So I love both. I love both of them.
Now, we saw with Rocky Felding, tall, slender frame, great body puncher, great Mexican body puncher in Canelo. Do we see a lot of body shots tomorrow night, Sergio?
Yes, he is a good body puncher. He knocked out his last opponent with a body shot when he hurt him with a last opponent with a body shot. He needs to worry about fighting on the outside, behind the jab. He needs to frustrate Canelo. He needs to get past the early rounds, because if this fight ends in knockout, for Canelo, it's going to be early. It's going to be like 4 or 5 rounds in. Fielding's going to feel the explosiveness, the experience, the pressure. Fielding can't stay against the ropes, which he does do occasionally. These are things that I'm sure he's not going to do against a star like Canelo. So if he can frustrate him, get out of the first initial 3, 4, 5 rounds, this is going to be a long night for Canelo.
Now, when we had other great fighters like the guys here today, Bernard, Ray Leonard, Oscar De La Hoya, when they fought the level of a Felding, we usually saw a complete dominant display. Do you think that's what we get out of Canelo, and should we expect it?
Chavez was up there, Marco Antonio Barrera was up there.
Yep.
That's a good point, by the way. Whenever a superstar is in there with a mediocre, and Matthew Macklin's in the house right here, middleweight contender. Good. Cheers.
That was a great fight with Martinez in this arena.
No, it was the theater.
In the theater. Well,
yeah.
Close, yeah.
I nearly had him, man. I nearly had him.
Yeah,
I need his fashion consultant.
You look good.
Cheers.
I think he dropped him in that fight too.
Yeah, in the 4th.
Yeah.
He dropped me down in twice in the 11th.
So what were we?
About great fighters putting on a showcase in this kind of...
Great fighters aren't supposed to struggle with mediocre fighters, but here's the thing. Rocky is not mediocre. He's a champion. However you want to see it, secondary champion, regular champion, he got to this point. He's a champion. It's a 12-round fight. We're at Madison Square Garden. He's a world champion, the defending world champion. So the best is going to come out of him. Not only does he have the size advantage, the reach advantage, he can box, he fights well off the jab, and he's an excellent body puncher. So if he could stay disciplined and stay off the ropes, it's going to be a long night for Canelo, whether people like to admit it or not.
And you always keep it honest about guys taking fights, not taking fights. Do you think Canelo, will it be hard for the fans to see the Jacobs fight, the Triple G third fight, the Charlo fight? Do you think Canelo is going to be willing to dive into those challenges?
You know what? Yes, I am going to keep it real. And Canelo has proved in the past that he's willing to take up the biggest challenges. He proved that when he fought Floyd Mayweather at 22 years old, 21 years old, whatever he was. He proved greatness already. He proved the doubters wrong that said he was going to avoid Golovkin. He proved against Golovkin. The first fight, close fight, Golovkin maybe should have swayed his way. But the second fight was decisive victory, in my opinion, for Canelo. He's doing what great fighters do, and that's take on all challengers. And now he's in the Madison Square Garden. So he knows that there's ghosts here of legends, of Ali, of Robinson, of LaMotta, of Frazier. So he needs to compete with that greatness. He knows the legacy that a burden on his shoulders.
It's a stacked division. What fight do you want the most? Charlo, Jacobs, what fight?
Well, whoever's going to bring the most money, for one. But, the zone already gave him that big money. So now it's the biggest challenges, whatever the crowd demands. I asked him last night at the fighter meeting, Golovkin for a third fight, and he didn't hesitate. He goes, if that's what they put in front of me, that's what I'm going to do. It's a politically correct answer, but still, he's taking on all challengers. Personally, I would love to see him against Daniel Jacobs, because I have experience versus Jacobs.
Right.
He is a huge power puncher, a big factor, and if that fight can be made in Jacobs' hometown, MSG in Brooklyn, here in New York, that's only a bigger motivation for Jacobs. So yes, I think that Jacobs fight in May would be amazing. But first things first, he needs to take care of Rocky.
And you think Jacobs will win that? And I gotta ask too, because he's 5'9", Canelo, and all these top middleweights are 6 feet and they're athletic. Is he gonna be able to overcome that and still defend the titles and win?
Yes, he is, because he's great. And I gotta go because Brian Kenny's calling me.
All right.
I can't leave the man.